Thank you so much, Mr. Buggs. Gabi Smith, welcome.
Good afternoon, Councilmember White and esteemed members of the Committee on Housing. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Gabi Smith, and I serve as the president of Royale Nationwide Ventures and the program director of Career Shop DC, a workforce development, job training, and most importantly, a job placement program here in the district. Today, I'd like to share the outcomes of Career Shop DC's partnership with the Mayor's Office on Returning Citizens and specifically highlight the successes of our most recent program cohorts. Beginning in January of this year, MORCA referred participants to our program, which was funded by the Office of Victim Services and Justice. So far this calendar year, we've trained 2 cohorts comprising 13 and 15 participants respectively, beginning on February 18th. Initially, our model provided 2 days of training and 3 days of part-time work due to the lack of a training wage under this grant. Our training focused on career readiness, including digital literacy, resume writing, mock interviews, and financial literacy. By the end of March, 6 weeks later, we had placed 8 out of 13 participants, approximately 61%, into full-time employment prior to graduation. Again, with no training wage, we allowed them to exit the program early if they could start working. Proudly, our graduation only had 5 people there. Today, that number has increased to 11 of 13, or 84% job placement. As many of you are aware, by the time our next cohort launched, the signs of DC's tightening budget were increasingly evident. Employers began slowing their hiring, which once again required us to pivot. For this second cohort, we continued to provide laptops and smart trip cards. Additionally, we enhanced our curriculum by bringing in a math tutor to prepare participants for entry into various apprenticeship programs. Upon completion of the program last week, several of our participants secured interviews with skilled labor organizations, 2 of whom have already been accepted. We look forward to updating the committee on additional employment outcomes in these various labor unions at the next hearing. In these economically uncertain times, it is vital that funding sources remain flexible to allow programs like ours to pivot in response to shifting employment trends and continue creating real opportunities for our returning citizens. In closing, I want to emphasize that the employment landscape is evolving rapidly with this incoming federal administration. Returning citizens are now competing for jobs alongside recently unemployed federal workers. Simultaneously, we're seeing a troubling inverse correlation between rising crime again and decreasing budgets. That is why it's critical that training programs for returning citizens remain a top priority for the district. It would be nice if MORCA's FY26 budget would include direct support for community-based organizations that have a demonstrated track record of job placement with second-chance employers, like Royale Nationwide Ventures. As I always conclude my testimony, jobs for returning citizens mean reduced crime, community stabilization, pathways to the middle class, and most importantly, jobs for returning citizens equal public safety. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify. I'll submit my full written testimony at the close of this hearing, and I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Tracy Velasquez from Council